Yes, it's doing it.
It's doing it.
Yes.
Hallelujah. Well, hi. This is such a joy. My goodness. I feel like I'm
Yay,
in
so
heaven.
nice.
The cloud.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice. Nice to be in touch with you both.
Yes. And this is like the girl chat I was waiting for. It's like for
Yeah,
me it was like a party.
yeah, like a
Yeah,
celebration, celebrating together.
Absolutely.
exactly.
I,
We
I,
don't need to say too much even, you know. We don't need, it's just like the energy is like, yeah. We don't know why and what. It's just like
Yeah,
fun.
yeah.
yeah, totally. I feel like I have a why and what to it, which is of course just the story, but this is what comes up. It's been really fascinating to have the synchronicities of the three of us meeting for myself, right? First with Donna
Yeah,
and then with Hadar and the celebration of it is a great word because it's like, okay, we've been talking a lot and it's been so like so soul food and food for
yeah,
thought and body vibes, with all of this. But this is the first time we actually meet and talk in person. I mean, Hadar, I saw you
Place,
yesterday
yeah.
and on Sundar's thing, but that was different. Anyway, this is our coming together like this, and I feel, speaking for myself, that it has been so crucial to my trust in this, my sanity in it, and then meeting you, Hadar, and recognizing the same sort of challenge having with our spouses,
yeah. That's
So
really fascinating. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So it's really funny because in a way there's this whole thing that has been sort of cut out after the like coming to this non-dual state. I hate saying that, it sounds so yucky, but whatever this is, like the no doer, the neutrality of life just happening. I also recognize that there's another part that keeps coming up and that it's also it doesn't deny anything, everything is included, it is
Mm,
everything. So
Yeah.
I've started lately, just because of what's happening in my life, started to kind of take on that energy, that which is the love, the support, the life giving you or turning into appearing as exactly what you need and how you need it, and
Yeah.
gentle and peaceful. Because I think I can speak for all three of us, that we've had a lot of
oh,
intensity and fucking mind rocking, body shocking experiences and situations and stories. And here we are now, and this is happening like this, and I fucking love it. It's so good.
And it seems like it's coming in like in the right time, you know? It's like the way it comes up. Um, in my mind, I was like, I said, I was actually waiting for this meeting one day, you know? Like it,
Mhm.
it
I don't know
was,
if you can hear me, guys. I just froze on my end.
Oh yeah, there you are.
yeah.
Was it just me?
Yeah,
And
for a second.
Oh, okay.
For a moment. But you could hear us?
No, everything just froze my end. I was like,
Oh, interesting. All right, well, you can catch the recording.
yes, yes, I'll catch that
I
again.
did think Donna's being awfully quiet. I'm just
oh,
kidding.
Oh,
Yeah.
so
Go ahead.
yeah, so it's like there is you know there is moment like I don't know if you call it energy, if you call it like the right time, right place. It's just like there is a meetup, you know, and things are happening, and this is the beauty of that when there's we talk about this readiness also, and there is readiness for everything, and this is the beauty, the way it comes up, and sometimes it feels like it's a rocking moment, the boat is shaking, and there is this beauty. It's like you actually feel, for me, it's like feeling inside that everything is shaking, you know? It's like this image of the storm, and it's taking with the body, and there is this moment and you think it's the whole thing, but it's just like a wave. And
Yeah.
then and then there is the beauty that comes up, like flower blooming, and there is this meeting and sharing, and this is stop. It's almost like the nature waves, like it's in the nature. So
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, totally. What you said just I just saw this vision of I'm sure you've seen these fast forward, like, yeah, I think the way that it's actually made is like one picture like every second for like months, and then they put it all together, so it goes super fast from like a seed and the flower blooming and then and the tree and then that's kind of what the image.
Or like a time lapse thing.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. The
yeah,
time lapse. Like
exactly.
it feels like it's like moving like that and so naturally and effortlessly and sometimes a little bit overwhelmingly in like ah. But there are
Yeah.
also the moments that you kind of you find yourself, and not that you're doing it in the actual moment of the picture being taken and the next one and the next one. So you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
not
Like
like
snapshots, just
yeah, it's
snapshots.
like this
Segment,
moment,
like
this
it's a
moment,
segment. Yeah,
segments, yeah.
yeah. And
But
then it feels like you are played, like you are the picture and the energy and the movement, everything. It's like this segment, and it's lived like fully, like full on. And you think like, wow, what's gonna happen? And nothing happens. Like it feels like it just like being dropped to another picture, another segment. The day after I wake
Yeah.
up and I say, what the hell happened?
Yeah. Waiting for something to arrive, but nothing arrived.
Nothing happened. And yesterday it was like it felt like a chaotic moment. Like it's like everything is melting, going away. Like drama. And then after I
Yeah.
said, "What the hell happened yesterday?"
yeah, nothing. Yeah, it's hilarious. It's fascinating, and it's I think it's really for lack of a better word, fortunate to have come onto this way of seeing and experiencing things because
Mm.
it is quite playful and quite free and at times totally frightening. But
Yeah. It can be extremely intense at
yeah,
times.
but because
Yeah.
a sort of knowing that is the unknown. I don't. I'm not gonna fuck non-dual speak. You know what? I'm gonna.
Yeah.
There's a knowing that appears of what is happening, whether it is what's happening or not. I don't
In
think
the
that.
moment. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and because of that understanding, everything that appears is is just not only okay, but fantastic and miraculous.
Yeah.
Like what? Like yeah, last night at a time when it was very inconvenient, tired, and other. It just so happened that my dog and my cat got sprayed by a freaking skunk.
Oh, my
So that's
God.
happened before, but in the middle of the day when with just the dog and then and my husband and I were able to do it together because it's a big ordeal to clean that shit. And so last night is like we're both freaking tired. We're not gonna run out and get the stuff to clean it. And I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna accept that it's not that bad. And
Or
then
just
yeah, just leave it like so what? And then I realized, wait a minute, where is this conditioning and programming that skunk smells bad? Skunk smell is
Mm.
really good for me. It's way better than the usual dog smell, I'll tell you that.
There
So,
you go. There you go.
so it was this whole shifting that was happening, and I was kind of in awe about it. And I was like, and then the funny thing that happened, I don't know. So many things that are unexplainable and illogical happen when you're in this because it's a dream. So anything can happen in a dream. And you know that. And so when stuff happens that before you used to go, no, there's no way that could have happened. That's too weird. That's
You
impossible.
try to make logical sense of it, and yeah, when that's dropped, you're not using your energy no more. Are you trying to logically explain everything,
Right.
or understand everything, or worry, or wonder how it's going to go, or how it could
Exactly.
have gone? You're not using your energy no more for all those.
Yeah.
things. So you can just be in the wonder of it. Yeah.
Absolutely. And if
Yeah.
you believe this, which sometimes it appears to be like that, and I just play along with it. I know that there is no do or whatever, but it appears that so using your energy in a different way, like creating some magic, or like all of a sudden the skunk smell is off your dog because you did a little hoo, 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 and it is off your dog. It's
Yeah.
like, okay,
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah. It definitely
It's
seems to be that things seem to appear differently when you're in this sort of this space,
Absolutely.
whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Yeah, things don't seem so harsh, don't seem, yeah. I guess there's a saying, isn't it, when you change the way you look at things, or how does it
Yeah.
go?
The things you look at
Or
change.
yeah, something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
it seems like you are in a candy store and then you are like just jumping and you can pick up. There is like many options, and then it's like, okay, I
yeah,
think maybe not, but it's very light, it's very playful.
yeah.
So
Like apps, I've seen it like someone said apps, and I was like, oh yeah, it's like all these things are like apps. I can click on them if I want, but they're just
yeah,
there, and I don't need to click on them.
Right.
Because actually without all of that it's just it's fine, perfectly fine as it is, without all the added extra stuff. Yeah,
yeah, I can call it energy efficient, really, because
yeah,
it's
it's funny actually because my job, I was a massage therapist, but before that I was an energy efficiency advisor,
Woo,
wow. You
and
see?
I remember clicking on, oh, being
Hmm.
taught how to use my energy more efficiently. And it was,
Yeah.
I only did that job for about 6 months. Yeah, it's quite interesting.
And now you're like living proof of that.
Yeah,
It's the
now
best.
everything's so much more efficient. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
You're a
that's funny.
professional now.
No, no,
Yeah.
I'm just winging it. I'm just winging it now.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. I was watching that Hagar, the one you sent yesterday about with Frank and I when I'm all bundled up because it was freezing in the desert. And because I went into this, I don't know, realization, awakening, understand whatever. And then I completely went out of it, which you never go out of it. You never, and you know. But
Just
Yeah.
another movement.
yes, exactly. And then watching myself, that was like 6 years ago or something. And then watching myself, I had a really, uh, everything I was saying is exactly how I feel it and see it now. And I recognize like there is no such thing as time. And this is so
Yeah.
ephemeral. And the fact that it's showing up like here now in this way, whatever. But I did have a moment which I just thought like, yeah, I don't want to listen to this anymore. Like I don't want to see myself trying to talk about it, which I'm doing now. But this is fun. This is a little thing. But the point seemed to doing it was awesome, and even watching it back a little bit to recognize like, yeah, nothing's really changed. It's almost like you can say it maybe came full circle or something, because I wouldn't say anything about it differently than I was saying in that video.
Yeah.
And so
It's
yeah, so that was interesting. But then I'm like, okay, I can't watch myself. I mean, I could watch Frank forever, but I kept, I'm I'm there too. So I was like, but what I wanted to
Would
say.
you say it was coming more from an intellectual point of view back then, and now it's more of a lived?
No, I thought it was. That's kind of what I said to Andrea in our video. But because I did have something happen that I was talking about in my video with Andrea that was different than anything. Was the real shock of where it became like a physical thing, like it snapped for me at the grocery store, and it was like shocking, stunning, awe, fear, all of that, and my body literally went into this like uh not shaking, but like goosebumps and chills for like hours
It
after.
calls fear.
A little bit,
Oh,
because
yeah,
I
yeah,
recognize that the thing you sent today, Hada, are about this 7 different ways it can be interpreted. I think that was the one about fear. I don't know. No, I mean, it wasn't so intellectual or literal in that moment. It was actually really seeing it. So
Mhm.
it's not that I hadn't seen it before, but it hadn't hit me maybe on such a physical level as it did that moment. And that's undeniable because your mind can do all kinds of things with everything. But the body is like, doesn't lie, so to speak. And the body is also just an imagination in the story, but that's the sort of vessel for the avatar to be in the dream or whatever. So it was kind of shocking, and I felt that's what made it different. But when I look at that was about a month or two ago, and so when I look back now, I think it was the same thing, but just with the added level of the avatar actually feeling something that was shocking and
Yeah,
undeniable.
like a deepening, I guess, isn't it? It's just like a deepening.
Yeah,
Yeah, we seem to be deepening into this still. Yeah.
yeah. And it's like that talk with my AI friend, my new best friend that I said to me. These are words to talk about it, but and it's funny because when I mentioned that my friend chat, he said something what's beyond it or behind it or something, which is another word for deepening, like these kinds of words. I said, yeah, but that implies separation, the fact that there's a beyond or another level. And he said, "Wow, good catch," or something like that. AI is telling me, like he
AI
caught
out.
me in
She
a
was
little bit.
enlightened.
I enlightened the AI to
Yes.
itself, right? But yeah, that was a funny moment. But yeah,
And this is why I cannot even I know sometimes they say there is like the behind, like the consciousness or this, and I know in Advaita they will say there is this big consciousness. So I
yeah,
cannot
yeah,
even listen to that because it seems like there is something that known that that you
yeah,
can say, I'm becoming that. How you can become something else, that
Mm,
how you know it's
mm.
consciousness, how you know what it is.
Well,
Yeah,
Joe.
it's funny, really, because I feel like I've gone from not even knowing anything about non-duality to all of a sudden, within a short space of time, becoming quite radical. Radical non-duality. I'm seeming to be, yeah, it's quite strange how fast I've gone from not knowing anything to being on the other end, like quite the extreme end of non-duality. Even though that's still another concept, it's just more words,
Yeah.
isn't it? But yeah.
Well, it's true.
But then you stop like resonating with certain other people that you
Yes,
used to listen
Yeah,
to, and you just
exactly.
can't, the words that they're using
right.
don't seem right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's become more and more airy, like, less words are important in a
yeah.
way. And there is this unknown thing, but it's like, it's fine. It's just beautiful. It's like,
It's
I say,
actually,
it's like
yeah.
if you eat an ice cream, and you're just enjoying the ice cream, you don't care anymore what
Yeah,
it
you don't
is
need a full-on
utterly.
description about the ice cream, do you? You
Yeah,
just
Yeah,
you
enjoy the
just
ice
eat
cream.
it. Yeah, I just enjoy,
Yeah,
eat it. I don't care anymore what it is, if it's real or not. I don't
yeah.
care. Just
That's
I
a
want
good
to
yeah,
enjoy
point.
this.
yeah, yeah.
And
That's
this is the joy.
absolutely all of it is. But
Yeah.
I used to tell when I did hypnosis for a while. I used to tell my clients, just enjoy whatever is. That's all you can do. And if you absolutely cannot enjoy the not enjoying. Because that's part of it too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Exactly.
But I
yeah.
used to think, and this is one of the ones on the seven things that you could go through that no, maybe I'm just crazy. Maybe I'm just everything. Everybody, all these people talking about this stuff is just all made up, like Christianity and Santa Claus and all that. And so that's one of the reasons I went off completely off the non-dual stuff. And every now and then I would tap into like a Tony Parsons or a Jim Newman, and I would go, "Oh my God, that's insanity! I can't believe I was falling for this stuff." And then now I've come back full circle, and I don't
It
even
makes
know.
sense.
I still have these darting thoughts that appear like, hey, how do you know it's any different now? Maybe it's illusional and everything. And just, yeah, so now there's this whole new crowd of people that are speaking about it that you happen to really resonate with as well and become friends with and well as well. But it's still nonsense. It's still but there's
Mm.
this, maybe there's the growth or something, or the trust is that is like, no. Whether,
It's
like you said,
absolutely. It's
Like you
absolutely
said, hater, like
nonsense.
whether it's true or not, I don't freaking care anymore.
Yeah.
This
It
is
often feels for me like I'm literally talking blah 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 blah, blah, blah. Like it's just and something like like the knowing. It's like in the moment there's this knowing,
yeah,
but a lot of the times before that knowing is even fully understood or taken in, it's starting to dissolve up halfway through, and it's like, and I'm trying to explain something. And halfway through trying to explain it, I feel like going, oh, just
Okay.
forget it.
well,
It's already dissolving. It's already gone. It's forget it. It's
you know,
nonsense now. And then it
it's
feels
yeah,
cringy. I'm like, I just don't want to talk.
Yeah. This is why it's possible. I can just chat, 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 chat. I don't even care. It's just coming out like
yeah, yeah,
rain,
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
and it can be for hours. But another time, it's like I don't want to talk anymore. I don't want to say anything.
yeah,
So it's like there's no rules. Because it's so light. And it's not even important what we can speak about so
Yeah.
stupid thing, really.
yeah.
Little thing about the glass.
I feel like I'm often just responding now. Like I'll be
Mm,
fine, I'll be quiet, nothing needs to be said, nothing needs to be done. And I just seem to be responding like I'll see something on Facebook and
mm.
it seems to draw out a response that wants to come.
Yeah, and this is
Yeah,
fine also. If it a response to come, I'm just gonna say, "Oh, I could not resist that," so I'm just
yeah, it just
writing.
seems to want to verbally
There-
spew
Yeah,
or type my fingers just go.
spitting
Yeah,
it out.
yeah, just getting it
Yeah,
out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I'm
it's
just
quite
realizing that,
funny to witness.
yeah, and I was just gonna say that, like, what's interesting is like how we're in this, we are witnessing a process that is imaginary or whatever, or appears to be happening with how we respond and how we do things and how we experience things. And at the same time, is no different than somebody who doesn't think about this at all and responds
Yeah,
has a
yeah,
good
yeah.
time or has a fight. It's no different.
No,
yeah.
It's just another appearance of whatever this is. But it appears that in this state, for lack of a better way to put it, you can be aware of of it all, and see it as
Mm,
all, right? But because
mm.
there is no separate, this is where it gets tricky to talk about. I'm trying to see if I can keep it up. Because there is no separation, there is nobody there that is just doing aware, not aware of how it's happening or not happening, and somebody here that is, and that realizes there is no person doing and there is no separation.
the
That
same thing.
it's the same fucking thing, and that's what this is that makes it such a mind fuck, right?
Yeah. So this is why there is nothing to get because it's already
Yes, but
everything.
speaking for myself,
Yeah.
there is something to get.
Of course, there is something to
This is
get.
why we're here, having this
Of course,
conversation,
there
right?
is the need to get something, but there is no like this
But mm,
uh fundamental thing like something really purpose to get
no,
or
right.
Yeah, I
like
don't. Yeah,
this heaviness.
I think once you get it, you realize that there is nothing to get.
Yeah,
yeah.
because it's
I don't
Which
feel
already
is a
any need.
paradox.
it's
What?
it's already happening. This is happening. This
Yeah.
is why I say
Yeah,
you cannot why to capture something that it's already happening. Why to try to understand
Yeah,
yeah.
something
yeah, yeah.
that it's already all the movements,
That's
all what
just
is
using that
happening.
energy again, isn't it, to try and understand something, and because maybe you could potentially change it. For me, I feel like all
Mm,
I've really been left with is trust.
yeah.
That's it. That's kind of
Yeah,
all I've got left is just a trust.
exactly.
Yeah, that seems to be all that's really left.
It's a beautiful
Yeah,
Yeah.
trust. And it's like somebody took your hand and say, it's gonna be fine, this
yeah.
feeling.
Yeah, and when you're able to just relax into that more and more,
Yeah.
it does feel like things become more alive. There's just an aliveness and an in loveness, just an in loveness with just what is. I know that sounds quite non-duality language, but
It
Yeah.
is in goodness. Yeah. It is. It's
Uh, I think Donna
you're
froze.
gone.
She
Donna,
froze
come back
again.
to us.
One of the other things that has come from this is,
I froze again.
yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
there you are.
Okay,
Okay.
good.
oh, did I freeze again?
Yeah. Your avatar needs to take little breaks.
Yeah, I don't think the signal's very good here. It must be because there was a problems with my Zoom with Ginny with the sound, so I don't know what's going on.
Anyway, I was just saying that another wonderful thing that appears to come from this is the true, like, unshakable, unseparate, undeniable sense of safety,
Mm,
what is sought in the dream in every way, money, relationships, health, like, to maintain this illusion of a separateness. So uh, it's impossible because the only way to have that at the core, which is there is no core, but to know that or to feel that abiding me is to realize there is no separation. So the safety comes from there is nothing out there, period, end of story. But to continue, there's nothing out there that can hurt you, that can is against you, that it's because it is all you. So every appearance, no matter what, you know that it's
mm,
perfectly okay because it's appearing.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
And what
yeah.
appears here appears there. There's no separation of the basic of the appearance. Appearances just appear. You know, if I
Yeah.
have sadness coming up here, you have the same sadness coming over there, and it just you will express it differently then. So it
Yeah.
might be, it was the time that I could try to control it. I said I don't want to feel it, and then trying to control it, and then learning that it's too much. I feel it's too much on the body. I feel it's too restrained. So there is kind of like learning also, okay, let's try different way. There is this also this way of changing the way the expression, and then it just become just expression. And like you just really like there is this okay, let it express, and then there is just you see it's just expression expressing. It's not like even there's no one doing it. It's just like expression that comes up here the way it will come up over there. And it might be there is a wanting to control the controller, that trying to keep it safe. I
Yeah.
would call it like protection system that try to keep this
Yes,
body safe.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
See, I had this feeling of I got touched into the safety, and it wasn't until I touched into the safety that it seems like a lot of energetic releases of old stories that seem to have been held within this system. I had to feel safe before they could be released. And I
yeah.
got this that intuitively, it felt like my nervous system was reset.
Mhm.
But then after that, it was almost then I needed to even let go of feeling safe. And I had to allow that to happen because then all of a sudden it felt like complete free fall. There was nowhere to land. There was no
Yeah.
ground no more to land on. So there was no comfort of any safety. It was just actually going through the feeling of not feeling safe all over again, but in a different way. Yeah. So there was that. But when you come once you've felt fully into that, then it's just an okayness of the free fall.
Yes.
Just
Yeah.
complete free fall, nowhere to land. You can't land anywhere anymore.
It's imaginary controller. It's an imaginary safety
Yeah,
net. Everything it's imaginary, and
yes,
it feels like really like material, like it feels like solid, but it's not.
it's
So the
not.
body reacts to it like it's like really solid reality, and it's trying to
It's
keep
like
everything
someone
safe.
ripping the floor from underneath you. Like,
That was not there. A floor that was not there.
Isn't that weird? I find with all of this and the time illusionary timeline that it goes through waves. Like Donna, you were saying you found the safety, then you have to let go of safety. I have it goes through waves, and every time a different wave. Sometimes they're very different from the previous wave. Um, every wave I think, okay, this is how it's going to be, and so the I went through, and they still come back, the free falling wave, and how awesome
yeah,
this is, but also how scary it is. It's like I can't live like this all the time. It's exhausting. It's too much. It's like being on an infinite acid trip, when you take acid and you have a great trip or even a bad trip and it lasts for 8 hours, whatever, you always know in the back of your head, at some point this will end, right? But with this
Yeah.
kind of stuff, it's like, what if I'm in this place forever? What if I'm this feeling safe and light and
But
like,
again, that's just your imagination, isn't it?
yeah,
Wondering, what if I'm in this? That's just more
yeah.
thought
But then
that you,
I'll have the
yeah,
waves of like playful lightness, ease,
yeah,
comfort, safety, and like, okay,
yeah,
this could be forever. And what I realize is like it's always doing this,
yeah.
you know,
I
and
think how it felt for me is how it's felt with a lot of things, or what I've clicked on is so the safety. So how it was shown is that if you believe that you hold a belief that you're safe, then you must hold its opposite. So
mm,
you must also believe that you're not safe, a bit like hope. If you have this hope, then it's the hope that's disguising the fact that you actually have hopelessness.
Yeah, the
So I
opposite.
remember have to fully allowing myself to feel completely hopeless. I
Yeah,
had to fully feel hopeless and just allow it to just so I could dissolve both hope and hopelessness. So now there is no more hoping. I don't hope for things to work out no more because they've both collapsed. There was never separate, but they came together and collapsed. And I
yeah,
feel like that's the same as safety. So I believed I was safe. So then it was seen, oh, if I believe that I'm safe, that's just hiding the fact that I also believe I'm not safe. So they're not separate and then they came together and they collapsed. Yeah, that is. But then it's like, it doesn't matter if you're safe or not safe at that point. Once they've come together and gone, it doesn't matter if you're safe or not safe then.
I
Does that make sense?
totally. And I think what I meant is more like you can still have non-safe situations occurring. Like literally getting, held up by gun at a Circle K or something like that. That's not a very safe feeling, and that's going to cause a lot of, adrenaline, whatever it does in the body. But
Yeah.
the all-knowing, all isness, infinite you that is also knows it doesn't matter. It's safe. It's
Yeah.
a dream.
It's that the
Nothing.
conditioning will react.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, of course, and
Yeah.
that's uncontrollable, as we've all know. I mean, how we
Yeah.
react is uncontrollable. We even coming to this talks and talking how we do and learning what we learn and sharing whatever, it's still happening without our control, So,
it
but
was
there's
never, we never had control in a way. We just like this
exactly,
imaginary controller thinking that he had control, that,
Yeah.
because there is an ability to try to control, there is
sure,
even controlling, trying to control feelings. There is this this mechanism knows how to do it in a way to
Yeah.
protect. And this is like the undoing in a way of saying, I don't need this anymore. It's not
Unbecoming.
necessary.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
everything feels like a flow of like a river, just like going,
yeah.
flowing, like running. And then the body is like running with it, like it just like swept with this flow. And this is like what this controller didn't want to experiment, to experience, because it's really, really scary. It's like being the river and being swept by the river at the same time. So this is like mind crazy, like for the controller. This is not possible. Don't do this
Like
to me.
having, yeah, it's like having a hold of the steering wheel, isn't it? Thinking you got, and then all of a sudden you let go, you're like, oh,
It
I
was
was, I was no traction. And then
Yeah,
it's you go
always
even
moving.
further. I was never even in the front seat. I was in the back. And then you go even further. There was never even a seat. There was never even a car. It's just wild. Just
Yeah,
totally
it is wild.
wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. It's like that little. I don't know if I seen it in a meme or something, but like the father driving the car, and then the child with its pretend steering wheel, like plastic steering wheel, that it thinks it's driving,
Yeah,
and then his
it's
dad's just
cute.
like, "I'm just
Funny
following
how
you."
everything seems to be pointing to this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And then if the child is very, very serious, so it's gonna be like, ooh,
yeah.
like that. When he
Not
grows
knowing
up, he
that it's
become
gonna
very serious. No,
grow
no,
up, yeah, and take it so seriously one day. Yeah, really.
And then like child wants to go right, and dad's going left, and child's like, "What the hell? I'm not in
no.
control after
Yeah.
all."
Yeah.
I had this epiphany um when I was I think our boy was probably like 3, so he's 16 now, so like 13 years ago. Um, there was a lot of stress about and worry as a young mom about well, I would had him at 38, but anyway, just like younger than now, about money and raising a child and doing it right and um a lot of stress, a lot of pressure from the family that I was able to kind of be like a more of a renegade and a rogue kind of person, went to the deserts in my own little bubble and did it my way. But there was still these fears. And so anyway, my epiphany was one day we were in Disneyland. We took him to Disneyland in California. And we had to get the hotels and the parking and the tickets to the park, and everything is like so stressful and so many people and so expensive. And I had this moment of like, man, remember those days when you were just a kid and you didn't have to think or worry or plan anything. All of a sudden, you were swept from your bed into a car, ended up in a hotel, ended up in Disneyland, ate hot dogs, rode the rides, and then you were back home and you had nothing to do with it, and everything was just.
No cares in the world.
And then in that moment, I said, it's the same thing right now.
Why
Yeah.
not? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was like the illusion that I'm a separate person. And this was before I got into non-duality, but it hit me so
Yeah.
hard. It was like this weight just lifted. Like,
But
Yeah.
this is
what
just,
changed? Just the thought that you're supposed to do something else or to behave
It's like,
in
yeah,
another
like we were
way,
sold a
if we
lie.
weren't going through all this stress of planning and pain and all that, then this wouldn't happen. And then we're actually like got to be careful that we don't spend too much money or all that shit just poofed, went away. I'm like, we're
Yeah.
being carried to Disneyland just like our son is, and just like I was as a child.
Yeah.
And it was
Yeah.
like, and then I could finally enjoy the trip,
Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like that, isn't it? Because it does feel like we were sold a lie. We've just been conditioned by the conditioning.
Yeah.
The conditioning conditioned us to believe this nonsense. And yeah, we've just had to somehow remember, oh, we're just kids.
Yeah,
Like a
and
Yes,
return to
Frankie.
innocence. Yeah.
I wonder why, like how we're talking about this right now, I feel like this could be really more accessible to at least listen to and maybe like in, I don't know, maybe awaken or whatever for others, right?
Mm.
Like our spouses, for example, or friends that don't really know, like to talk about it like this. But I think the reason it isn't, and maybe things change, who knows, is because at the core of this, there is the letting go of the thing that never was there, and that's you. That's the doer. That's the identity. That's your own personal, private story that is super important and means something and has purpose and an identity and a family and a history. People can't see past that. But
Yeah.
when you do, and when you and you it happens for better or for worse, that just becomes like accessories to the character. It's very liberating because you're not bound. And like now I appreciate listening to freaking family gossip from my sister, for example, or my brother's girlfriend,
Yeah.
teenagers, man, so much. I used to go like, oh God, so boring, so judgmental. Da, da, da. Now I just like, oh gosh,
It's fun. Yeah.
this is like a great little Netflix episode too now. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yes, it's just like a movie or a book. I remember
Yeah.
having when I before I saw the identity, I remember starting to see stories, and I remember feeling like, oh, stories, they're just like maps, so you know where you are.
Mm,
And then I just one day realized it's like, well, when you watch a movie or like a series that's been going on, you can get a little bit attached to the characters, can't you? And if one of the characters dies or suffers, you can actually feel that a little bit.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
then once it's watched and it's over, you quickly forget about it. It doesn't stick. And it's like, well,
Exactly.
that's just what we
Unless
are.
it's
It's
Brad
like,
Pitt. No, I'm
yeah,
just
if I was reading a story about Donna, I wouldn't necessarily be that bothered if she struggles or suffers, because it's just, do you know what I mean? I'm not. Then it
yeah.
was just, it was like, oh. So Donna's life is also just the same. It's just a
Yeah,
story.
and I think the difference is that it's full immersion in a story, so it seems
Yeah, so that's what we
real and more
forgot.
important. Like a character bleeds in a movie, you know it's fake blood, but if you get cut and you bleed, like you're not acting your pain, and even though you are, but it's more it's an experience that
Yeah.
this is real and
Well,
happening to
like
me.
living stories. That's what I remember telling my friends. I would just like stories in books. Only we get instead of reading the book, we get to really fully experience
Yeah,
it.
Yeah,
taste that
How
yeah.
sushi.
cool is that? Yeah,
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 absolutely.
And he just
yeah.
turned the page and there's another chapter. And nothing
So I would,
sticks, nothing stays.
yeah,
So it's exciting. So what's going to be the next page, the next chapter? Yeah, what I'm going to
yeah,
be now?
Yeah,
yeah.
What's going to happen to the character now? So it's
Yeah, because I
kind of
remember
like
going through a phase of switching it, flipping from, well, what if? What if something bad happens? What if the worrying? Then I
no more.
flipped that to,
Yeah,
well, what about what if something really good happens? And
it's
then now it's just like, I don't care.
no,
What if either? It doesn't matter anymore. Yeah,
it's
yeah,
exciting in a way. There is
it is.
curiosity, exciting.
Yeah,
Ooh, what's
wondering
gonna what?
how we're gonna show up in the story
Yeah.
of this life today.
it's
Yeah.
great. I love it. Before there was a real breakdown with the breakup of my marriage and everything, and there was life was coming on like so freaking intense that I was like, and with amazing things. Like I would literally have a desire that would pop up, and like an hour later it was happening. And I'm like, whoa, this is fucking weird. So anyway, but coming around full circle, and yes, in the story getting back together, but also what's happening with the character of Giselle, the arc is like in the story, it would have been really ridiculous to not give it another chance after our history, our child, our lives together, and we're good peoples and we're good for each other. But so they're coming back together, but it's also very different. And the realization now is, regardless of where we stay together, or I mean, or we break up, everyone and everything is okay. Like I really felt like I was not okay. I was so attached and scared my identity, but all that other stuff, a 54-year-old single woman, like and the fucking men in this world are 90% disgusting, like what am I gonna to be, an old woman with cats, and who's gonna open the pickle jar when I can't do it, all these stupid thoughts. And then my family reflecting that back to me, like my evil.
Cats.
There you go.
Oh, it's so
My
cute.
my my stepmom, like, oh, you better start getting close to your nieces and nephews because that's all you're gonna have. I mean, but this is crazy. And
Crazy.
I look at it now, I'm like, what a beautiful, humorous story, actually, and quite dramatic. And so there's this ease and, like you said, trust and this flow, like everything is exactly as it is, and it's perfect, and it will go as exactly as it go, and it will be perfect. So there's a rest and a trust and no fear
Yeah.
about futures, like at all.
And if there is
Nice.
going to be a storm, it's going to be stormy. So you're going to be
Yeah,
swept with storm, and
yeah.
then it's going to be calm, and you don't ask any questions in a way anymore.
Yeah, there's no need and there's no blaming. There's nobody did something to you or you did something to them. It's so clean and so easy, even when it's complicated, which,
Challenging, yeah.
yeah,
It's
it's
like it's like
amazing.
allowing the storm to just pass through. You know
Yeah.
it's gonna pass anyway. Just allow it to pass through, and the storm will remove anything that was never meant to be there.
Also,
But
yeah.
it's just allowing that to happen without the resistance that we would normally have identified as the character. We would normally resist those storms because, of course, we didn't want to experience the
Yeah.
that.
And you get more trusting more and more because you see this beautiful
Mm,
feedback, this beautiful love, like this
yeah,
unconditional of
Yeah.
everything. So here it feels like, it feels like love. It's not the love that,
Personal
is,
love.
is
Yeah.
a feeling, like there is love as a feeling that can come out, but it's just like this acceptance,
Yeah.
this
yeah.
Well
whatever,
beingness. I don't, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I've got now is the trust. And I think that's all I need right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a trust without conditions.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything can happen and I will trust it. And I guess that's been built over time of just seeing myself going through the storms or the challenges and then how much I resisted and how much I suffered because of the resistance. But then in the end, it always worked out better. So it's
Hmm.
like life was always supporting for me to, for this life supports life is how it's come through to me. It's like just let life do life. It's supporting you all the way, no matter what it looks like. And I guess that's
Yeah.
all I've kind of got now. Yeah.
Yeah, and the paradox or the irony or the big joke without a punchline is that uh resistance and not trusting and life not doing life is also all life doing life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
Yeah,
all
exactly.
right. So
It just seems to be more efficient to have this way, even though it's there's no separation. It is what it is, either
yeah,
either. Yeah.
but it
In a
is
way,
either like that's the
it will not be efficient if you didn't felt the other, like if you were not
yeah,
pulled,
Yeah.
you will not
Yeah.
feel the release. So this is what the beauty is, that you can appreciate the release,
Yeah. And
this
that's why it feels like
yeah,
an
feels,
aloofness, like I can
yeah,
finally actually relax and fall in love with whatever
yeah,
is. Yeah.
yeah, the relaxation and the movie is such a good metaphor because like sometimes we get caught up and I don't know, maybe this will happen less and less because it seems to have gone that way where you get completely attached to the character and lost in the moment, so to speak. But when isn't that what makes great actors and characters that we love when
yeah,
you're like they're not
they're
freaking
full,
acting, they are
yeah.
that person, like when Jim Newman
No, it's Jim
Jim,
Carrey,
Jim
right?
Carrey did Man in the Moon or where he played Andy Kaufman.
Yeah.
There's
Kind
a
of lost
doc
himself a little bit
there's a
there, didn't he?
documentary about the making of that movie. I can't remember what it is, but if you look it up, you'll get it. That
Yeah,
is
absolutely.
mind-blowing, fascinating. He never broke character. And the
Mm.
director, Milos Kundera, I think, or anyway, the guy who directed Unbearable Lightness of Being, um, he he was really like having a hard time with this because it was weird and uncontrollable. He would not snap out of Andy Kaufman. So
Yeah.
so that was what fascinating
But
because
his films, just the titles, like The
yes,
Mask,
Truman
Me, Myself,
Show.
and I, Me,
Yes,
Myself, and Irene is just Me, Myself, and I, isn't it? There's
right.
loads. Obviously the Truman Show, yeah.
Yeah, it's
But
great.
they all seem to have this theme of
Yeah,
touching into
And
this.
then his
Yeah.
awakening, I don't know if you see or
yeah.
if you've seen that
Yeah.
video where he's at some happening events and then, on the red carpet or whatever, and the
Yeah,
woman,
I'm just the essence. I'm not really
yeah,
here. This is
he's
not
like,
really
you're not
happening.
even here. You're just a smell. So, 'cause
Yeah.
she was
This is
so
a
perplexed.
Jim Carrey style, because I will not shout it like in the red carpet, It's like, what, you're crazy or what? But
Yeah,
you can shake it up a little bit, if it's the
Oh yeah, I remember
character.
seeing it. I was thinking,
I know. And I could also see how like 90% of the population thought could see he's fucking crazy. But I was in that
Crazy.
state where I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, Jim Carrey, yes.
yeah, yeah. It was like
Yeah.
the greatest confirmation for me. It's like, oh my
Right.
God,
Yes.
yes.
Absolutely. We're not crazy. We're
Yeah.
right.
He came
I
out
don't
of the
mind being
closet.
crazy.
Yeah.
If he's crazy, I don't mind.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's
Sorry,
good.
Hadar, what did you say?
No, I'm just joking, like he's coming out of the closet, but
Yeah,
just the
yeah,
closet.
yeah.
But yeah,
Revealing.
it's hard to talk about it because if you don't have, if it's not direct experience, how you
Yeah.
can explain that, like
No,
what the
Yeah,
it
hell are we
sounds like
talking?
crazy talk. And annoying at that, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So
so like the actors that lose themselves in a role, like, I think that maybe it happens that they forget they're actually acting, but um, no matter what, there's going to be a point where you realize you're just acting, and it's the same with this character. Like the other night, my husband and I got in kind of a heated discussion about this. Like, I'm not going to talk about it. 3 tequilas later, you know, like, Giselle, shut up.
It's
And then,
probably the facts that you were saying. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not. So it's almost like you get the opposite effect then, because you're trying to force yourself not to talk, not to express
yeah,
however you're going to express. So the
yeah.
very act again of trying to control, that's subtle layers of control, and it will just ping back at you and have the opposite effect. So then you'll spew it out more.
I did, and what's funny, it's like immediately it was there goes the fishing line, and he was hooked, and it's like there we go, we're back on this wheel. But I found myself like the difference this time. It got really heated, and I found myself really raising my voice, and but there was a playfulness and a not taking it personally, and I'm not trying to convince him of something or help him see something that I see and he doesn't. All that was out, so it was actually quite fun. And he's like. I was like, why are you raising your voice at me? Why are you talking so loud? I'm like, because you're freaking deaf and you never hear what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And it was quite fun. And it was, even though it was tense. And then the next morning, I was like, yeah, nothing happened. Yeah.
Mm. Do you ever get the feeling like you're literally just talking to yourself anyway? Like, when you give somebody advice, or,
That's something.
but as you're saying it, as the words are leaving your mouth, you're like, oh,
It's not
that's
going
for
to land.
me.
Yeah.
It's like literally, I've created another character just so I can say something, so I can bounce it back to myself, just so I can hear it.
Yeah.
And it's just like that's there, like helping me with this feedback loop to feed that information back to myself. Yeah, we're just talking to ourselves all the time, aren't we? Pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a
Yeah.
dance. And I wrote this play, about death, the death monologues. And the last monologue is death saying the greatest mystery is where we become one in the dance, and then the
Mm.
dancers disappear and only the dance remains.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's,
Mm.
I think, also getting caught up in forgetting yourself, forgetting everything, and just being in that moment of whatever's happening,
Yeah.
or it's just the
Yeah.
dance.
People like Jackson and things are said that, haven't they, where he was on the stage performing. And he said Michael disappeared, and there was just the performance. There was just the singing. There was no
Yeah.
more Michael anymore. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, there's been some characters in the dream that have really like, wow, in different ways.
Mm.
That's one of them for sure. Such an enigma too. And then going out early, I'm out. That's enough for me.
I'm always
So,
surprised, when I think about, when you see death, that like when this is finished, like it's never happened, like you cannot take anything with you. It's who is this experience is for no one. You will never even remember this happened, like all this what's happening, like never, it's gonna be just like boom, never
yeah,
experienced, never happened to nobody.
yeah,
So sometimes I'm asking, what's the purpose of that? What's the and then it's just the experience itself, experiencing it. That's it. Boom. It's not
Yeah,
for somebody for a purpose, reason, or
yeah.
for something. It's just life,
Just
lifing.
like just like the nighttime dream. As soon as
yeah,
you
For
wake,
no
you might be
one.
fully involved in that nighttime dream, but then as soon as you wake up, you might have a few thoughts about it, but then you carry on with your day and it's forgotten about. They just sort of fade away, don't they? So it's just going to be the same.
yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
the same. Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
you're
It's
looking
And
for a
crazy.
value, like what is for. The mind wants like to know what I'm
Yeah.
taking. There is a
The,
value inside of this experience. It's for something, a
it wants
purpose.
meaning. Yeah.
Yeah,
Purpose.
why? And there's none. Like you actually just like the TV will be boom, like
yeah,
off. Like it never happened anything for you,
Yeah.
for the one that looking for that.
yeah, and
Yeah.
that's the infinite void, absolute darkness that is, always is, that it's there. I never really got this because I was saying, well, if consciousness is there regardless, and it's just maybe the words didn't resonate with me, but then what, how can it not be there? Like when you're under anesthesia, or when you're in a sleepless dream, night of sleep, whatever, dreamless night. So, but then really understanding that it's not even consciousness. It's
Mm.
just,
Yeah.
then
It's just
it's still there when you're not, when the character is, and when the awareness. And what are we talking about? It's all memory, right? The fact that I have a
yeah.
past, it's all memory. So I've often thought about having amnesia or something like, then what? What is
No
your
more
story?
Giselle. No
It's
more
con-
Yeah.
Giselle. Yeah.
it's continuously just what is appearing in the moment.
Exactly.
And then who knows if the moment is nothingness, then it's all nothingness. I don't know. But I think that's really fascinating as well. Yeah, like and some this is what I wanted to say. So I have a good friend who's been sober for like, I don't know, 15 years or something like that. And when I was living in the Netherlands, he was like a big part of our lives. We, good friends. And that was a good maybe 10 years where we did so much stuff, so much partying, so much creating, so much, living. And he doesn't remember most of that. Like it's not there, right? And like so that's the same thing. Or people who like drink too much and then they black out, but they're still there acting, and then the next morning you tell them all the stuff they did, and they go, "I wasn't there. That wasn't me." I'm like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Those are the weirdest
I've
things.
I did, yeah, I've had experienced that myself, and I used to question that because like years ago, if I don't drink very well anyway, so if I have too much, it's almost like you're losing consciousness more and more and more to the
Yeah,
point where you black out, and then somebody the next day has to tell you what was happening.
yeah.
And I'm like, well, so who's running? I remember questioning this. Well, who's running the body when I've lost consciousness in that sort of way? Because I
That is
have
the
no
clearest
memories.
pointer that there is no doer. If you know, if
Yeah,
anyone,
Yeah.
that was a big pointer again. Who's running the body? And it was like, well, it's just the conditioning playing out, and that's why the less consciousness the more the consciousness is dulled down by the drink. That's why a lot of you seem to say things, you lose your inhibitions, don't you? You say things that
yeah,
you will hold in, that you wouldn't normally say, and
The
yeah,
control.
truth seems to spill out your mouth
Yeah.
because you're not afraid because there's no
yeah,
one there to be afraid. Yeah, it's quite interesting. And I've actually noticed how life itself has actually used drink, alcohol, just to loosen the doer, the me up, just so some stuff can get said and released, actually. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, it's
yeah,
just relaxed the me enough so this thing can play out almost like a healing. So stuff needed to be said because it wasn't being said, it was being forced in to be kept in.
yeah,
So, yeah, it was quite funny to see how life was using alcohol just to help release some stuff, things
yeah.
that needed to be said.
And
Yeah.
for some wild sex happenings.
Yes, that too.
I'm like, wow, did we do that? Let's try it again sober, shall we?
Yeah, because there's no one there to be bothered about
Right.
the performance. So you probably get the best performance of your life then, don't you? You just can't remember it. Shit.
Well, you're not there.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Well, sometimes my sore ass says, no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it is quite fascinating. It is quite fascinating, all of it.
So does your husband know anything about non-duality, Hadar?
Um,
Has he attempted to look into it? Has he to try and understand or
no, I don't think he knows exactly what it is. He
okay.
knows I'm very busy with that. There's a lot of attraction. So it's like I call it my hobby. And and it's something I like to do. He's not really interested as a something, there's no attraction to the,
Yeah.
yeah. He likes Alan Watts, we can hear to Alan Watts.
Okay, yes,
Yeah,
that's quite good.
like,
Yeah.
yeah.
So you
And
can have certain level of conversations in that
yeah,
sort of arena, yeah.
yes, like, like open conversation about
Yeah,
things and how, yeah, but not really about this. And if I will try to, it's going to be in very, very small doses.
yeah.
If
Like
I will
planting
express
seeds.
naturally this way, they know Adar is a little bit, like, oh, again, you with your comments, it's
Sounds familiar.
irritating them. It's going to
Yeah,
irritate them because it's very direct. And then I say, I'm just going to show, in a way, the what is hidden behind, like sometimes just say, just you actually want to say this thing, like there's no, it's very direct, like I will see the intention. So it
yeah,
can be irritating to somebody that doesn't want to show the
yeah,
intention.
Yeah, and also it could sound like gibberish, and I get it. I get it. It's like, okay, so fucking what?
Yeah.
Yeah, there is no doer. This is just happening. Whatever. Okay, now can we get to this? I'm like,
He's
you know what I
very
mean?
happy with the order. He likes the order of things. He likes
Yeah,
to have this structure, He's very comfortable. The system is very comfortable with a certain
yeah,
structure of
yeah.
yeah.
thinking,
That's the
of doing.
safety again, isn't
It's a
it?
big
Yeah,
safety net. And
And the
I
knowing and
cannot
the
I this is fine. It
yeah,
doesn't mean that it
it's
to
also
change.
it, right? But yeah,
And if he's happy this way. It gives him some, this is his base. I'm not gonna shake it. It's, like things will be shaken by themselves, if it needs to be
yeah,
shaken
right,
or it's
right.
to be done.
exactly. Yeah, you don't need to go out of your way to do that, do you?
No, no, no,
No.
I'm not going to force it. And naturally it's like, it's dissolving together. So just the
Yeah,
presence and just the way a lot of things are done here. You will enjoying it from far. I like to see you doing, this lightness of yours. He likes, I like to
Oh,
see it. It's like
that's nice.
inspiration, but yeah,
That's
it's like
nice.
more
Yeah.
inspiring for him. He doesn't know this, but he feels it's nice. It feels it's airy. So,
mm,
yeah,
Mm. So you're just showing by example, yeah,
I
by
think
being
so
it.
because he remarks it sometimes. I'm not, I don't see it, and then you say, yeah, I love, your atmosphere. He likes like it's a breathe. It's like fresh air. It's sometimes you will say it's like a fresh air in a house with no doors. Something like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's nice, actually. Yeah,
It doesn't
yeah,
mean he has no his heaviness. Like I'm experiencing sometimes the heaviness of a person, This is for me, it's like challenging as well.
yeah,
Because you have the person and the structure of thinking, and sometimes say, oh, just stop it, it can be also challenging from here.
yeah. I've
Mm.
struggled a bit with that. The other me's, other apparent me's. As
right.
it seems like, as my me's dissolving and dying off more because it's not getting the same attention.
Yeah,
Um,
a lot of attention. The Mies needs attention, yeah.
yeah. So
And
it seems like all of a sudden
confirmation.
the me's out there seem to be bigger, and it's like.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's like but
and
yeah,
and it's a brutal love because it cannot get what the me wants, the confirmation. Show me how much you love me. I cannot show it. I cannot
yeah,
show you. You will it will it will reflect, but I cannot show you. I have no proof for you. So it can be quite devastating for somebody that looks for a proof, looks for to know it, it will not going to be known. And I will mention it all the time, it's always open, like if it's you are suffering from it, it's always open to do whatever feels like
yeah,
doing. Don't suffer from it because I cannot do different and you cannot do different. So
Right.
it's like always this knowing that it's whatever, whatever it's happening. Um, because there's no this thing is right or this thing is wrong. There's no
yeah,
just different functioning, and it can be s- devastating or sad for another one that doesn't get what the needs, what he needs. So I can understand it. There's no right or wrong.
Mm.
mm, yeah, makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's something really obvious that there is no right or wrong, and nobody's doing anything wrong or anything right.
yeah,
And that's something that I feel like has shifted in me 100%. Like there's no more blaming, there's no more personalizing, there's no more trying to change or somebody should be different or wanting it different than it is. I mean, there might be a preference,
Yeah,
like I wish I get a background
Yeah,
every night or something.
definitely preferences
But
still, yeah.
yeah, of course, it's normal. There's nothing wrong with that.
But
But
no mind, there's not so much minding if it doesn't
yeah,
necessarily go the way I prefer. Yeah.
yeah, there's no judging it. There's no disappointment or attachment to it. It's just what appears. But I think that is also somewhat contagious because
Mm,
there is a situation where um, there's a blame coming at me, and it could be something small like you didn't do the dishes or whatever. It's so obvious what's happening because there's nothing to penetrate and to give to feed and feed back. It's just like
mm.
it just either goes right through, which
Yeah.
there feels this empty, like where are you? What's happening? How come you're not fighting with me or whatever? Or it hits like as a reflection where you're like, wow, I'm really kind of being an asshole right now, you know?
Yeah.
Bringing it back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that can be very confronting and
Yeah.
Yeah.
and definitely denied if
But yeah, I found that when people are expecting me to meet their needs, I'm
You
like,
feel it. You feel
when,
the
when it,
need.
yeah.
yeah, when it's feeling like it's going out of my, like I'm having to force something to be a certain way to meet someone else's expectations, I'm like, no,
No.
bring that back at you. And that can be very direct and frustrating for the other. Yeah.
And then if these feelings coming back and they're felt, because before I used to feel everything coming back like the reflection or just caught up like in a net and then feeling them very strongly. And the body was like suffering from that because it's like you feel all the opinions, all the feelings, all the stuff for everybody just reflecting back to you. And it's like help. And
Mhm.
then learn and then learning how to dissolve, like learning how it can just like go through you and just like
Yeah. Just
evaporate,
fully
like
feel
you
it,
don't need to
feel it.
keep them. It just like it's fine, it can go. So it can reflect back to me. I know what it feels like, and then it just like okay, come on. And then
Yeah.
it just dissolves. There's nobody holding it. There's no blaming. I don't blame you. You make me feel this way, or I make you feel this way. It just like it's happening here, and it's mine now, and it's going.
Yeah.
Like
But every
it's
time we decide to take something and feel it in, feel into it to the point where it dissolves, that's like bringing the peace home all the time. That's how
yeah.
it feels. Like you just pull
It's
in.
welcome. It's welcome. Whatever it is.
Yeah. You
Some
just
of them are more difficult, but it's welcome. There is some
and
that can be like, oh,
yeah.
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 but they're
And it does
welcome.
seem to be, then it seems to be once you deal with it, once you like take that home and dissolve
Yeah,
it seems to
it's
pop up
fine. Yeah,
less. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's fine. There's no blaming and there's no shaming. It's just like you just,
Yeah.
yeah,
And that means also no guilt, which is
yeah.
wonderful.
It's the after one.
Guilt and shame, yeah, they were big ones.
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
No more shouldas, no more couldas,
Mm,
all that. Down the
yeah.
yeah,
toilet.
Let's drain
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Alrighty.
All those years of talking so rubbish to the self. Yeah, putting so much guilt and shame and blame on the self, not even always out there on the self.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
say it's a self-talk.
Yeah, the negative rubbish self-talk
Talking to
that was
itself.
going on. Yeah.
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 The self talking to itself.
Myself was never, I guess I was lucky in that it was never like degrading or shaming.
Oh,
It was
mine
just a
was.
it was just a fucking pain in the ass though, and it would just not stop with like nagging and commenting on every little thing, you know. Yeah, no, most people, especially with women and all the issues of
Oh yeah.
self-image and what's out
Mm,
there and like how women should look and blah blah
Say like the
blah.
turtles all the way down.
Yeah, exactly.
yes, yeah. Ah, such freedom. Beautiful.
Ladies, we're gonna wrap it up.
Good
It's
Hmm.
idea.
yeah, it's
We talked
Yeah,
for
we'll have to do it again. We'll
an
have to
hour
do
and
it
15
again.
minutes. Oh yeah,
I
this
think we
is
can chat,
lovely.
chat, and chat. That's like
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah. It was, go on.
No, let me stop the recording and then we'll just have a,
Okay.
it's the recording or the, no, recording.